You'll hear 5 young people who are outstanding at sports talking about their lives. For questions 19 to 23, choose from the list A to F the comment each speaker makes about his or her attitude to sport. Use the letters only once. There is one extra letter which you do not need to use. You now have 30 seconds in which to look at part 3. Speaker 1.
My event is the 100-metre sprint. Athletes never last for very long in this kind of event. You just burn up too quickly. I think you have to see it as a way to get your name famous, get some good income from sponsors and advertising, and then put that money into a business, a shop or whatever, so it'll take care of you in 10 or 15 years' time when you can't compete anymore.
Speaker 2.
Archery isn't a very well-known sport, but it is an Olympic event. I actually started by complete accident when a friend of mine wanted to go to an archery club, and I said I'd go along just out of curiosity. But now I'm really hooked. Last month I won a regional contest here in Cornwall, and I have my eye on the national championships later this year. Winning it would just be amazing. Even if I never become famous, just the feeling that nobody can beat me is exciting enough.
Speaker 3.
Like most athletes, I started at school. We had a really good gym teacher who encouraged everyone to try all the track and field events to find which we were good at. Well, it turned out that I was good at the high jump, and now I'm going to compete in my first international event in the summer. To be honest, I haven't thought beyond that. It's always been my biggest dream to compete at international level for Australia. I know I'm going to be terribly nervous, but it's definitely worth it.
Speaker 4.
Ever since I was about 10 years old, I knew I wanted to be a professional footballer. I suppose it was partly because both my elder brothers were really good at school and I wasn't. So I wanted my mum and dad to see I was good at something at least. Of course, as I got older, that part of it became less important, and I found myself loving the game itself.
Speaker 5.
Show jumping is as much a social activity as a sport, you know. And in this part of the country, lots of people have horses. In fact, most of my friends are interested in things like show jumping or pony clubs. We meet almost every weekend, except in the middle of winter. That's how I started, although there's an awful lot of hard work involved if you get more serious about competing at higher levels. But it's still loads of fun.
Now you'll hear part 3 again. That's the end of part 3. Now turn to part 4. Part 4. You'll hear an interview with someone who started the activity known as free running. For questions 24 to 30, choose the best answer, A, B or C. You now have 1 minute to look at part 4.
Sébastien Foucan is the co-founder and pioneer of freerunning, a physical discipline in which participants move through, across and over all sorts of obstacles and structures in a smooth and fluid way. People do freerunning in gyms, in the street and on buildings. He's appeared in movies and TV documentaries, performing spectacular movements. Sébastien, you routinely jump across rooftops to get from A to B. Why exactly?
It's always been a real passion for me, but I think it's become more than that. It's a part of my life. It's like asking someone, "Why are you walking?" They say it's simply because they can, and for me, it's the same with freerunning. When we were young, my friend and I used to practice climbing around, just like any kids. We just kept moving, never stopped, until it turned into something special. First, it turned into a lifestyle, and then into a real discipline.
Just watching you in action makes me tired. Do you have to be fit to be a freerunner?
To start with, you don't have to be so fit. In fact, I often prefer beginners who start with not such a healthy body. If you can't do stuff because your body is not ready, you naturally start at a low level. When you get somebody who has done some sport, they often want to do something too impressive too soon.
Just one wrong step could see you fall and splatter on the floor, though. Surely it's just too dangerous.
Yeah, of course there is risk, but there is risk everywhere. When you're driving a car, you can have an accident. We fly on planes and just accept that there won't be an accident. We make it as safe as we can, but we know something can happen. It's the same with freerunning. There is danger, but we try to do it properly.
Would you say you're a risk taker?
No, because everything I do is calculated. It's not like everything is 100% safe, but I'm always thinking of the safest way to do what I'm doing. I'm not afraid of using wires in movies or putting crash mats down for big jumps. You have to be clever.
What went through your mind when you jumped across the Millennium Stadium roof?
I thought to myself, I know this jump. I know I can do it. I used to do track and field, and my best for the long jump is 7.1 meters. This jump was between 3 and 4 meters, so I had a margin of safety. The weather was good and there was no one around, so I had no stress. We put a crash mat down below. You could always miss it, but it's better than nothing.
Are you basically just fearless?
People think I have no fear, but that is not true. I have vertigo, for example, but I know my body very well because I do everything step by step. It's about focus and concentration. Okay, I'm afraid of heights, but I just focus on something else and try not to think about it.
You've traditionally stuck to urban areas, but would you like to try further afield?
I would like to try Africa and the natural environment. People think free running is only about the city, but it's not. You can use trees and rocks and even swim. You have to open your mind and not restrict yourself.
Well, Sébastien, good luck with everything, and thanks for talking to me.
Pleasure.